It's not important what we have, what we are capable of, but what is more important is what is how we are going to do it, how we are going to accomplish it. And in this case, it is our willpower, determination, passion, and hard work. They become most important in making us a success. Here, the first part, his first flight. It's a story about a seagull, the one who was not confident about his, you know, wings. So here, the young seagull is the main character. It was afraid of flying, though it had got beautiful pair of wings. Yet it was not confident of the fact like his wings would help him fly flawlessly. His parents tried their best to instill in him the confidence to fly. They taught him various tricks. They encouraged him, threatened him, means they adopted all ways and means to make him go for flying, but nothing helped. All the younger siblings of the seagull, even they could fly. Despite the fact like those siblings had shorter wings, even then they were able to fly. And that also did not help seagull have the confidence like she would be able to fly because it had got better wings, bigger wings than those siblings had. So one day, uh, the seagull, its parents went off towards another plateau, and it was not given anything to eat for the previous night. In the daybreak, next day started off. The sun started blazing on that ledge where the seagull was sitting. It started starving, asked its mother to give him something to eat. And mother, it might have been its tactics. Mother picked up a fish and flew by her. And in an urge, in out of an excitement to catch that fish, the seagull, spread out its wings and leapt to catch the fish. And mother went off without letting her have the fish. And then the seagull had to, it was there in the open. Now it had two options. Either it would fall, either it would give up flying and fall, or it muster up all courage and start flying. So obviously, when you are left with no other option, then you start rising. So then it was able to fly. So the point is, like so far you are in your safe, in your comfort zone. So far you are being overprotected by your parents. You are not able to find your way out. So the moment you become self-sufficient, the moment you become self-reliant, that very minute you start navigating your way out to reach your destination. So this chapter is also about effective parenting. This chapter is also about like how children can find their way out of the darkness. So it's very important that children come out of that overprotective comfort zone provided to them by their parents. So far, they would be, provided that shelter, overprotective, zone. They are not able to see what they can do or what they are to do. So they are able to explore the vistas of opportunities only when they become self-sufficient, only when they try to see, or only when they are able to explore their own potential. So his first flight is about that. So let's see. Uh, since the earliest times, humans have dreamt of conquering the skies. That is true. So it's not that right now this is this generation who wants to fly high. It is only this generation that who wants to be successful. So far, since the times of man's arrival on this earth, man has been trying to conquer. Man has always been trying to win over the nature also. That's why development is taking place. A lot of development has already taken place, and still it is taking place. So here are two stories. A young seagull is afraid to fly. How does he conquer his fear? So what is required to conquer your fear? Willpower. What is fear? Something which tries to control your mind. So fear first tries to control your mind, then it controls you completely. What is courage? Is courage absence of fear? No. Courage is not the absence of fear, but courage is overcoming that fear. Okay, it's not that the courageous or the brave people are not afraid. They are afraid, but they are able to overcome that fear with their willpower or determination, right? So willpower, determination helps you do something impossible also. And that impossible also covers up fear. So second part would be about a pilot that we would discuss tomorrow. So first part, the young seagull, his first flight title, the young seagull was alone on his ledge. What is ledge? Ledge is a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from a wall or a cliff. So the young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sisters had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way. It was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Even when each of his brothers and little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had come around. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. So, what we have read? So the seagull, it was there on the ledge. It was all alone because its siblings, brother and sister, its brothers and sisters, they had already flown off the previous evening. Though they had shorter wings than the seagull, yet they flew off because they were confident. But the seagull, the main character of the story, this seagull, though it had far better wings than that of her, siblings, she went to the ledge, and from there she went to the brink of that ledge, and from there, the moment it was about to take flight, the moment it was about to flap its wings and take flight, that very minute it saw that that there was unfathomable depth of that place, and then it was afraid of falling and getting hurt, and there and then it went back and slept under the ledge and did not have the courage to fly off. The parents of the seagull, they scolded it, they threatened it. How did they threaten him? They threatened him like that it would starve. If it would not come and fly off, then they would not bring anything for him to eat. So eventually it would starve. But this threatening also did not have any effect upon this seagull. So threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away, but for the life of him, he could not move. So why did seagull move? Because it was afraid that it might die. So what stopped him from flying? Fear of death. Fear of death stopped it from flying. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. So, children, 24 hours had elapsed since Seagull's family had left him. So, since then, nobody had come to the seagull. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his siblings. So the whole day, this seagull saw his parents uh, teaching or guiding the siblings, like how to fly about, how to, like they were teaching him the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. So what were they teaching their? What were the parents teaching their children? They were teaching them the art of flight. They were teaching them how to skim the waves, how to float above the waves, how to swim on the waves, and how to dive for fish, how to take a plunge in the ocean to take a fish. So they were perfecting them these various arts. But you can, parents or teachers can teach children only when children do something, only when children start doing it. If I teach you how to write a letter, eventually you will learn only when you write a letter. Only merely telling how will not happen. What is required to learn? Doing is important. So those siblings, two brothers and sister, they were they were doing what parents were teaching them. And this seeger was only watching them doing it. She was only watching them teaching. So he had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it. Got it? So what is herring? Herring is a soft pinned sea fish. So when the seagull was watching his own siblings learning the art of flying or of diving or of skimming the waves, then she even saw that the seagull even saw that one of its sibling was able to catch a fish also and even ate it up. So when you're able to do something, you can enjoy it. Standing on a rock while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau, midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. What is cowardice? Lack of courage is cowardice. Okay? When you're timid, when you're afraid of doing something, it means that you're coward. So this seagull had seen its brother catching a fish and eating up. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. So whole of the family, throughout the day, they had been walking about on that big plateau just opposite to the cliff where this seagull was. And from that big plateau, they had been teasing the seagull for its timidity or for its cowardice. So why did the family tease seagull? Keshav will give the answer. Keshav, why did the family tease seagull? Keshav, unmute yourself. Okay, so yes, the seagull was teased for its cowardice. How can you say that the seagull was coward? The seagull was coward because it was not doing what it was being taught. It was not courageous enough to take the flight. It was not courageous enough to flap its wings and take a flight. The sun was now ascending the sky. The sun was now going up in the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. So now the afternoon was coming up, and the ledge was being ablazed by the sun rays. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous night. Got it? So now it felt the heat because it had not eaten anything since the previous night. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg, with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other. So now when the ledge was like being ablazed by the sun, when it was burning because of the heat of the sun, then it stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge. It stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge means it came to the edge of the ledge, and there it was standing on its one leg and it was hiding the other one. So why the other leg was hidden? Maybe because the rock was it was quite hot because of the heat of the sun. It closed its one eye then the other. Okay, sorry children for the interruption. So he stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye then the other. So why did it close one eye then the other? Maybe because of the rays of the sun. He pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. Yes, one thing is here. Why did it close one eye than the other? Because it was pretending to be falling asleep. It was standing on the edge of the brink, and there it was standing on one leg and pretended as if it was going to sleep. Can you tell me, like, what was it? Why was the seagull doing this? Why did seagull pretend to be falling asleep? Come on. Why did the seagull pretend to be falling asleep? Come on. Raise hands, those who know the answer. The seagull was standing at the edge of the ledge. Okay, it was on the edge of the ledge. There, it was standing on one leg. Then it was closing one eye or the other. That is, it was pretending to be falling asleep. So why was it doing so? Why was it doing so? Yes, Ruhani, give the answer.
Ma'am, he was doing so that everyone would think that he's asleep and no one would see at him with covered eyes. And when no one would see at him, then no one would even think him to be a coward. And in this way, he would hide his fear.
Ruhani, it's okay. Now let us ask what Prabhgun has to say. Prabhgun, yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, the seagull pretended to be asleep because while pretending to be asleep, he was thinking that his family members might have sympathy on him and they would bring him some food.
Yeah. Partly answer is partly your answer is correct, Prabhgan. Like the seagull was pretending to be falling asleep so to attract his parents' attention or to attract his family's attention. So why it thought like the parents would be attracted towards him, that they would pay some attention to it, because it was standing on the edge of that cliff. And from there, if it was standing on one leg, and if it was about to fall asleep, then it might fall also from that height. Okay, it was pretending, it was pretending to be falling also then, because it was standing on one leg, then it was standing on the edge of that ledge, then thirdly it was pretending as if it was, as if it would sleep. So these things might make her fall. Okay, if she would be actually, if she would actually fall asleep in this condition, then there was every chance that the seagull might fall from the cliff. This is what she wanted to show to the parents, that she might fall. Then parents would come near her, near him, and would save him, and moreover would become sympathetic towards him and would give him something to eat. Okay, the purpose of pretentious act was to attract parents' attention, to attract parents, and to make them give him food. Okay, so this is how children often befool their parents. When parents become very strict with their children about something, this is how they try to befool their parents, by emotionally blackmailing them. Right? So this was an emotional blackmailing Seagull was doing. Still, they took no notice of him. But here the parents were very wise. They were intelligent. They were able to understand the seagull's motive. They took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So now still they took no notice of him. And then he saw that his two brothers and sister, they were lying on the plateau and dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So the point is, then this seagull saw that its siblings were dozing off on that side of the plateau. So they were dozing off, and it was pretending to be sleeping. So the difference is, they were dozing off, they were actually sleeping, because they were tired of their work. So they had already done flying, they had already been able to, they already took what they had to eat, and now they could sleep. So when you've done your things, when you've done your work, when you've eaten up your lunch, you can have a sleep in the afternoon. You can sleep for some time, you can doze off. But when you've not done anything, when you have not taken your lunch also, how will you sleep? You won't be able to. Got it? So it saw that his brothers were taking a nap, that is, they were dozing off. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Even father was relaxing, right? So what is preening? It's making an effort to maintain feathers. So it's a gesture of comfort. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. A typical family system. When the family becomes strict, the siblings are very happy, like their one brother or sister is being, strictly dealt with. Father also remains strict till the end. And most of the times it is mother who becomes a little weak. So here, let's see. So only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again, she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. So what was mother doing? Was mother also weak? Had mother become weak? Had mother been befooled by the seagull? What will you say, yes or no? No. Mother had not been befooled. Mother was also very smart. She knew how to make her child work. She knew her child's weakness. She knew that it was a time for her child to have his lunch. Then only for food it can do anything now. So what she was doing, only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. So then she would tear off the piece of the fish, then she would scrap it up on the rock. The sight. So when the seagull saw her doing like this, the sight of the food maddened him. So because the seagull was very hungry, so the very sight of the food made him mad. Now he wanted food by all means. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it, to sharpen it. So he wanted the food by all means, and the sight of the food made him mad. And now, ga ga ga, he cried, begging her to bring him some food. So he begged her mother to bring some food for him. Gao. So she screamed back. She screamed back. She screamed back derisively. So what is derisively? In a manner showing someone that he or she is stupid. So she screamed back, but he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of. So why did he utter that joyful scream? Why did he give that happy scream? Because he saw his mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. Now, what mother did? She picked up that piece of fish and started flying across him. It's not that she came to that cliff and put the fish there in front of him. She just started flying across that ledge where he was sitting. He leaned out. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. So now imagine the scene that the mother was flying across the ledge with that fish in her beak, and this very bird seagull, it was sitting on the edge of that ledge. Now it tried to get nearer to her, who was flying across him. But when she was just opposite to him, she halted. So when the mother seagull, when she was just exactly opposite to the seagull, she stopped there. Her wings became motionless. The piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of the beak. Now the mother seagull, she stood, she stood motionless exactly in front of him, but not on the cliff, right? And now that fish was within the reach of the seagull. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. So for a minute, the seagull felt like why was mother not coming to the ledge to give him the food? Why was it standing there in air? Why was it motionless in the air? But because he was hungry, he could not actually think much. So it just, what did it do? He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer. And then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into the space. So when it dived to catch the fish, what happened? What had happened? It had actually dived downwards into the space. So with a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into the space. Then a monstrous terror seized him. What a terror, fear. Then the monstrous terror seized him and his heart stood still. So when he dived outside in the open and then he started coming down, then he was afraid and his heart stood still. Then his heart stopped beating for a few minutes, seconds. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a minute. The next moment, he felt his wings spread outwards. For a few minutes, for a few seconds, he did not listen anything. He could not see anything. But then, the very next minutes, what he found, he was able to find, he was able to feel that his wings had started spreading outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. So he opened up his wings, and the moment his wings were flapped, that very minute, what will happen? The wind started supporting his wings to fly. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. What is dizzy? When you have an uncomfortable feeling of spinning around and losing one's balance. So at that time he was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid, he just felt a bit dizzy. Then he flapped its wings once and he soared upwards. Ga ga. Mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. He saw his two brothers and sister flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. Okay. So meanwhile, when he was soaring higher, then he saw that his whole family, mother, father, and siblings, they were all around him. He saw his brothers and his sisters flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. So all of them were doing the different maneuvers around him. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commended himself to dive and soar and curve, shrieking shrilly. So when he was flying higher, then it didn't occur to him that he was flying for the first time. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him with the little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and cawed, amusing. So then it started flying above the sea. Then it was flying facing straight out over the ocean. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. So what's a green flooring over this? It's a sea itself. So his parents had already landed on that sea. They were beckoning to him, beckoning, calling. They were calling him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright. So the moment it made an effort to skim on the waves, its legs sank in the water. Got it? So it's not that in one attempt you're always able to do the things finely. So his legs sank into it. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. But he was tired and weak with hunger and he could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. His feet sank into the green sea, and then his belly touched it and he sank no farther. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. He had made his first flight. So, children, the last 1 minute is left. The chapter is also over. So, finally, he was able to do what what his parents had been asking him to do. So, what made him do in the end? His own efforts. When he did the things on his own, when he became action oriented, only then the things were done. Right? So children,